Okay, welcome to the podcast, and we will be speaking with Kevin Haynes. He is here in the studio in Chiswick. I'm very grateful for that. Now, we talk about sustainability, we talk about responsible travel, we talk about wellness, and we touch on organizations and people that are doing the right thing. Now, Kevin is a musician. As a matter of fact, he is promoting his latest album as we speak. I'll put all the links in the show notes. He's also a traveler. And what is very important and why he's on the show, he is creating sustainable eco villages and permaculture schools in Benin. Now, Benin is in Africa. It's right in between Togo and Nigeria. It was fantastic to have him on the podcast here. If you would like to support the podcast, you can do so by going to the website, look at the news. It's podcasts with plural, podcasts.earth. And without further ado, here's the podcast with Kevin Haynes. So here we are today with Kevin Haynes. Kevin, welcome.
Welcome. Good
is that your name, Kevin Haynes? Or?
My name's Kevin Haynes. I've got other names. Awoifaleke.
Ah, exactly, because that's your email, right?
That's correct.
Okay, right. And Kevin, you are working with the Global Self-Reliance Eco Living Company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Living.
I
am the director.
You're the director of the
Yes.
company. Brilliant. And I was referred to you obviously by Courtney Harwood, good friend of mine and a good friend of yours as well. Huh?
Good friend of mine as well, yeah.
And I believe you're a musician, just like Courtney. Is that how you know him? Or?
That's how we know each other. I'm a saxophonist and percussionist, and we was in a big band together. And then after that, after a few years, we've kind of connected and done some music.
Brilliant.
Some other musical projects.
Brilliant. And obviously, I saw in your email, you just released an album as well. Hey?
That's correct.
And you're promoting that everywhere.
That's happening big at the moment. Yes, I've got a jazz, like an Afro jazz album at the moment, and it was released on the 6th. And I have this organization called Jazz Refresh.
Jazz Refresh. Yeah.
They're the ones that are actually promoting it.
Okay.
And it's been making a very good wave at this present time. Really big.
Fantastic. I believe you just came out of an interview as well. Huh?
That's correct, with Jazz Wise.
Yeah.
And then I've had lots of interviews of other radio stations and magazines as well. So it seems like
going well.
It's going well at the present time.
When did the album come out?
It came out on the 6th.
Yeah.
So it's out.
6th of this month. Not just now, 2 days ago.
That's
basically.
right. So it's out. So if you're interested, you can check out Kevin Haynes Grupo Elegua.
Yeah.
On Spotify, Bandcamp, iTunes, and all the digital kind of platforms.
Yeah.
You'll be able to find Kevin Haynes Grupo Elegua, and the album's called Ajo Shepo.
Ajo Shepo. I'll put it in the show notes, but you have to send me an email about that.
And just in the basics, it just means unity.
Unity. Ah, brilliant. And very topical as well, I would say.
That's correct.
All right. And obviously I saw you promoting it in London, in Cuba. I've been to Cuba, beautiful. I've been to the US as well. You're promoting it there as well.
Yeah.
And the other project, really why I invited you, is in Benin, in Africa. Where are you based? Where have you been? How does it work all together?
Well, Benin, it's called the Oba Shere Ile Eco Village and Permaculture Site.
Yep.
This is in Benin and in the Shogbo. So I've got two spaces. I've got two spaces. So basically, at the moment, I'm promoting the awareness of it.
Yep.
What we are doing as a permaculture designer myself, I'm going down and implementing these sites for the first one in Benin, which is kind of close to Cotonou, and another place that is close to Ketu.
So both are in Benin, correct?
No, I've got two different sites going on. One in Benin, two kind of communities basically.
Two communities in Benin, right?
One community that they kind of already are involved in sustainable produce themselves, and that was kind of, so I'm going to be doing a project with them, and then we have our own site specific.
Yeah.
Which is going to be in Benin, and which is kind of more closer to Ketu, a place called Ketu, which is more north, away from
Away from the coast, and I take
Away
it on.
from
Yeah?
it's kind of on the coast side, so it's on the it's on that western side.
Western side.
Yeah.
So it's the
But
side
it's
of
more
Togo, right? Because
yes,
just
exactly.
people don't know, Togo is on the
Exactly.
west
That's
and
correct.
Nigeria is on the east,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
So it's more on that western side, but a bit in the middle.
Okay.
And then in that place there, it's the altitude is a little bit higher, completely different to where Cotonou is, and so that basically we're choosing this location for its altitude.
Yeah.
Obviously to make this site in a higher location.
Why do you want that?
To experiment with creating in a higher altitude, and also the landscape and the way that it's kind of set up. It's hill type, slope type, lots of slopes, things like that, and also the advantage of taking advantage of being in a higher altitude, because you can do different things in different altitude.
Yeah.
Not too high.
Is it better to be in a higher altitude for certain things, or
certain things would grow better?
Yeah. What?
Any types of food.
Okay.
Maybe like honey. You're going to get different types of honey.
Okay.
Because you got ground honey, then you've got honey that's grown in high altitude.
Right.
So the high altitude honey is usually quite soft and is more purish. Well, you get
makes me hungry. That's all I can say.
The color is usually very light.
Okay.
And when you get very dark honey, it's because it's usually it's made from the ground.
Right.
So when you get rich dark honey, it's ground honey.
Right.
When you get very light looking honey, it's made up in a high tree or a higher space or higher altitude.
Oh.
The bees go to this higher altitude and create everything, and then when the honey comes out, it's very, very light looking.
Okay.
So anyway, that shows you that there's some difference. It's very nice as well, and it's very good for you. It's nothing. It's the same. It's just in another altitude.
Yeah.
So there's different things that can grow in a certain altitude. You can start to create pyramid types of stuff. You can do, I suppose, other things that wouldn't allow you to be able to do.
Okay.
If you're just on a flat surface.
Right. And the site that you have, people live there already, or
people are living there already.
Yeah.
There's already people that are involved in organic growing food themselves.
Right.
So,
Sustainable food already. Yeah.
So all we're doing is just sharing, and they're going to be part of the school.
Yeah.
We're going to create a school, and we're going to invite the people who live in the area we're choosing to be in to be part of the school. And also we'll have some people that's going to be part of the village. So it'll be so that we're living with them and being with them as well.
Wow. Okay.
And it'll be one system.
One system.
Which is what it should be.
No, yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. And now, obviously, but why Benin? Why Benin? Why is it?
Well, firstly, I think it was a way to kind of do an easy project.
Okay.
If you know about sustainability, you can do a difficult one.
Very difficult, yeah.
You can do if I went to, I don't know, if I went to maybe Sweden or something, I'm going to have a different kind of problem to deal with. And I'm going to have to kind of do it in a completely different way. I'll be able to still be sustainable, but there's going to be a lot of things missing. And I'll have to reconstruct a different science within permaculture to make it work. Okay. That's all. So doing it in somewhere like Benin, firstly, the people are already active in sustainable activities, meaning that from the past, what they were doing, they've realized that there's no point destroying themselves. So they come to some kind of conclusion that they needed to go back to some of the things they were doing before, which is building thatched houses, building some small eco kind of sustainable situation for themselves, so they can have some livelihood. The fascinating things about Benin now is that they are, their lands are really fertile, right? And like I said, there's more people active in this field of making sure that they're sustainable. So there's lots of people got their own plots, and they are working with other eco type groups that are showing them information to do other things. And so now they're working like that, and this is more of a bigger thing. This is not really happening in Nigeria in that same way. Right.
I was just going to ask you, it doesn't happen in Nigeria because obviously it's a very rich country. Nigeria.
Yeah. Different reasons again.
Oil, I suppose.
Well, Benin's been in a kind of a war and
Sure.
and all these things, and so that's affected how people are going to do things in the future.
Sure.
They've had to think about sustainability. I think Nigeria's coming to that conclusion.
Yeah. Might take a while still, is that what you're saying? Or?
Well, it's a different jurisdiction. The politics are different. And that's one of the main factors, the politics.
Yeah.
And Benin's been through a lot.
Yeah.
And they're coming out of a lot of destruction.
Sure.
And this is just their way of reconstructing themselves. So they now are doing sustainable projects a lot of places. So that's what kind of the first things that inspired me to do a project in Benin, because of their really willingness, and they've got a little bit of knowledge, and they're trying to expand that everywhere.
Brilliant.
So that everybody's has a sustainability situation in their lives.
Yeah.
And also they're going to be easier to deal with politically.
Politically, they're easier to set up a system.
Yeah, if I go there as a company set up, they want you to help them.
They want you to come out and do
They
this.
want you to help them. So whereas in Nigeria, it'd be more political, there'd be more business-orientated reasonings.
Sure.
And a lot of red tape and all sorts of stuff.
That's never good.
So basically, that just makes it more difficult for them to have something like this. That's my point.
Right.
Because they feel maybe, whereas Benin, they've been through so much destruction, they're just waiting for any good concept to help them to move forward.
Right.
This is why permaculture was now, and these types of ecosystems, they've kind of engaged with it and are practicing it in small elements. Yeah. But they're doing it.
But they're doing it they're on their way, basically.
Yeah.
And they're grateful for you to come and help out.
Yes. And that's what they want. And they want, as many people like myself to go and set things up to give them a kind of a starting point.
Head start, yeah.
And then it's up to them to continue.
Absolutely.
We're not there to, be some kind of charity. We're there to...
You're a non-profit organization. Hey, I just want to point that out.
That's correct. Yeah. So we're not a charity, we're non-profit. We're not making any money from this. Any money that I make goes into the site, which gives the education to the people to help themselves.
Education, you talk about a school, right? You're going to build schools in the communities that you set up, correct?
We are building the school in the village.
In the village, okay.
In the village, so it'll be a permaculture village.
What is that? What is permaculture? Tell me about it.
Permaculture is it's working with ecosystems, human beings and nature, working within an ecosystem that's allowing all species to be sustainable.
Brilliant. That's very short and concrete as well. I saw sort of a long piece about, created by Bill Mollison, David Holmgren, and 12 different rules, principles.
That's correct. They are the engineers and the science, or the people that brought this combination of different cultures. We're bringing their wisdoms as one thing.
Okay.
Because they all studied all over the world. Bill Morrison went to Africa, went to India, went to the other places that he didn't go to before, and met indigenous people and other people that were using sustainable systems or ideas that they put into the term permaculture. So it's a term that they created based on their observation of other cultures, activities in sustainable something, whether it's water, whether it's creating specific swales for that specific landscape, whether something's in the climate that they're in, they kind of know it's in a certain way that maybe some people wouldn't recognize certain things, the soils, and their own uniqueness, meaning that they got a certain skill that only they are expressing, and they're going to share it with you, because there's something about them that allows them to have this skill. So there's lots of people in the world like that. So Bill Morrison and these people discovered to bring a concept that is united for everybody in the world to use. Doesn't matter where you live in. You can use the same concept anywhere.
Fantastic.
The other part of permaculture is a repair. repairing.
Repairing, yeah.
Repairing the
I was coming to
ecosystem.
that actually. I saw that. Repairing environmental damage, toxic soils, waters, air pollution. I saw here. Correct.
That's correct. So within that concept of the holistic reasoning of what permaculture is, and then there's a problem because we're destroying everything.
Sure.
Whatever we want to call it. Business is really the reason why we're destroying it, and greed. So repairing is based on us. We're not going to be able to repair everything,
sure,
because certain things takes hundreds of years to be repaired. So when we're talking about a landscape and it's been completely destroyed with so much toxins, that's takes 100 years to fix.
All right.
So we can't fix that right now. But what we can do is fix the environments that are good. Them ones is going to fix that. That's how it goes. It then will start to fix itself.
Yeah. Small steps, and then it will lead to bigger things.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
if you have a whole nation of people doing this, that's going to affect another country and its environment. That's what we haven't really experienced yet, but this is the kind of mission.
That's the idea behind it all.
Yeah, because you want to repair, damaged soil, even the ozone.
Are we talking about erosion, or are we talking about...
all of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, all of it. Erosion, destroying the ozone, whatever. Them things can be fixed over a certain time, depending on what element we're talking about. Certain things will take longer.
And the school that you're building there in the village, as you say. So is there a school already that you're transforming, or is that a new school altogether?
We're going to build from scratch.
From scratch, are you?
So building the school for them.
And 15 dwellings as well, I saw, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. So the dwellings will be for the community.
Yeah.
And for guest students who want to come and actually do the course.
Guest students you're talking about within Benin, or?
In Benin, anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. So
the science is for everybody, but it'll be there for them people to have it.
So they can learn.
They can learn every day. When they want other people who want to learn, they can come to the site and learn and spend a couple of weeks and actually help the people do something and learn and go away. We certify you to go and do the same thing.
Fantastic. And it's a project of 5 years or so. Is that that's quite long, is it? Or is that not so long? I don't know, really.
Not necessarily. If you want something sustainable, you need to be able to have observation. Yeah. And so that observation of a whole season takes a year.
Right.
And then after the second year, you need to know what you might do wrong that year before. So then that's 2 years.
Right.
Then after that 2 years, with the things that you did wrong or you got right, the third year you did it right.
So it's trial and error?
It's a bit of trial and error and experience in the thing.
Yeah.
And also the climate and everything is changing all the time.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with the changes as well. So 5 years is more or less, we're sustainable. It's running itself.
Yeah.
And
so after 5 years, it should be running itself.
Be sustainable.
Yeah.
Because people be doing everything. The energy is naturally there.
Yep.
It's not going to go away.
Solar, right?
Solar. We're using wind. They're the two types of energies we're using. Yeah.
And what if there has to be repairs on solar, like batteries and stuff like that? It's quite expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's another issue. So obviously, as time goes on, we'll look at what alternatives. Yeah, because there are alternatives, so it's just about knowing which ones to use.
Yeah,
when you have a permaculture site, you're going to use all of the options anyway. And each kind of site or sustainable ecosystem has options. They don't just use solar; they're going to use all the 4 options that they are. So when one is not working or when the batteries run out, they've still got something happening. So that's what sustainability is. So you don't rely on solar. Don't rely on that. It's going to work well, but the batteries is gone.
Yeah.
But the wind is coming next.
The wind is still there. The wind is always there.
Well, no, it's not always there.
No,
the wind only comes at certain times of the season, unless you're in a windy place like Scotland. If you're in Scotland, it's okay. But if you're in, somewhere which is the tropics that doesn't have wind like that, only at a certain time of the year, then you've only got a month to get that wind.
What month is that in Benin? Do you know?
Around about April time. they have a windy, rainy season.
But sun is always there, right?
Sun is always there, so you got no worry with that. But the point is that there's a time to get energy, and there's a time to always get energy, and there's a time you can't get energy.
Right.
It's like everything else.
You
have to be planned. So the planning with the 5 is based on this kind of concept of everything is based on the observation of what's going to happen next, or you already know it. Yeah. So then you plan for the event. That's what they call in permaculture. Yeah. The event.
Okay. Sounds brilliant. And then you talk about obviously you have a GoFundMe page, I saw.
Yeah. So I'm asking people to take a look at go to our website, and if you're interested in helping us to help these people to have the consciousness to work with sustainability as a future. Yeah. So then there isn't any people sending any charity people. It's not necessary. Yeah, they can do it themselves if they've given the wisdom. If you can help us to help them, that would be appreciated. We're asking for donations for materials.
Materials as well. What kind of materials are you looking for?
Hardware materials. Yeah. We are building most of the stuff from bamboo. I'm going to
bamboo.
Yeah,
I did actually an interview.
But they've got different types of bamboo in Africa, which I'm not sure people know about. Yeah. So I want to obviously,
of course, go ahead. Yeah.
Go and try and get some of that together to build the houses.
Yeah,
basically,
it's very sustainable to have.
And it's very sustainable. So people know that already. So it's not a secret. It's just that maybe it's only in Asia that it's really sold. It's well.
I hear Kenya. I didn't know it. I've traveled all over Africa.
But just now, I think it's just only now Kenya is a producer of this. But before, so is Ethiopia, but it's not really known because they don't know the type of material that the bamboo that they've got. So then people don't really want to, or they don't know about it. Anyway, either way. Yeah. That's what we need the money for: materials, money for hardware. Yeah. And that's it, basically, and just to give us a starting, so we can start.
It sounds good. And I saw something like part of your proceeds of the album goes there as well, or is
that's right. 65% of my monies that I make from the recording will go into the site.
That's amazing. I must say,
to help the site to begin its journey.
Brilliant. Any other ways of funding you're looking for? Because other people are doing the same thing all around the world. It just, might be inspiring what you're doing. Right?
Any other ways? I mean, any other ways people know about, they can let me know. But I mean, they're the basic ways I know. I think GoFundMe, buy my record. That means I can then send money directly to where it's going to be, which is going to be for the site. Sure. And to reconstruct the school.
It sounds absolutely brilliant. It said something as well about helping the communities with clean water, with jobs. How do you, have you got any ideas on how to achieve that?
Well, it's based on ethics.
Right.
You're going to have a kind of ethical, I suppose, rules. Yep. Based on that, the site will have its own ethical rules, and people have things to do in that ethical rulings. So if water within this society, everything's free, by the way. So no one's
people don't pay for it in the community.
No, because what their contribution to make the site happen is the reason why it's free for them.
So basically, everyone is also basically reaping the benefits from what's being built.
Of course,
correct?
Yeah. So that's the whole, because we need to show people about ethics. Yeah. And caring and loving and sharing. Okay. You can only do that if you create the system for it. Yeah. So you come to the site, we want you to help us to build the food forest, and some of that is yours. But you need to be part of the situation to make it happen. So then they say, okay, right, I want to get my own food. Yeah, you can get your own food. You can have your own water too. If you want to help us with the water system, you'll have to share of that. If you want to help us with the solar energy, you have some of that. Also, your house as well is yours.
Right. Do you think that if you give things away for free almost, it's not free because people have to work for it, but if you give that away, do you think people will come from everywhere just to be part of that system? Or
well, I hope so in one way.
You hope so, yeah?
I hope so in one way, because we're going to teach them the ethical reasonings. Right. By the time they leave, they're going to take that ethics elsewhere.
Maybe they don't want to leave.
They will. Because they want to leave. Yeah, because they want to try their own. They want to experiment themselves, and we're going to tell them to leave. In a sense, we want you to go to Kenya. We want you to go to some other place in South Africa. We want to go to that other village that they don't have it. Yeah, you have the skills now. And this is what we'll be telling people anyway. So only the people that are going to stay there will be there. And those who's coming, we're giving them the information so they can help every people in the world.
Right.
That's the whole point.
That's the point. So it's almost like a community, like, and then spreading out all over.
So it can happen everywhere. So not everybody's, so we know it's going to be sustainable. And then, people, if you're just by yourself, they're going to rob you. Of course. Because you're not helping nobody. You're just there by yourself, glorifying what you've done. You're not supporting the community.
That's not what you're doing, obviously. No,
we're sharing wisdom.
You're sharing wisdom and how to be more sustainable.
Exactly. So then the problems that we're facing or we having for hundreds of years, or whatever time it's been, we can move in a different conscious way of how this planet and how people should be in this place. This is what this is about.
Yeah.
So you're sharing wisdom that is actually ancient and old already, but it seems that the consciousness has been very low for a long time.
It's picking up, I think. What do you reckon?
It's picking up now because we're having this discussion.
Yeah.
We're having this talking about sustainability and working with the planet rather against it. And that's what that thing's about.
Right. Is that reflecting in your music as well, if I may ask? Or
that's what I do.
That's what you do, yeah?
Listen to
listen to it, obviously, yeah?
So listen to my music.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the links so you got it all.
Yeah.
And then you tell me.
I will. I'll put it in the after notes.
But you will feel the energy of what I'm saying because it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, same energy.
It's the same.
Okay, brilliant. And then you're talking about maybe other African states where you would build communities yourself like that. Once again, what are you thinking about? Which areas?
Kenya, Ethiopia. Why? Because they're already doing it.
Yeah.
And also, I know these people from my music and
of course
things like that.
Yeah.
And so, I want to help where I can.
Yeah.
And they'll be the next places because I'm kind of connected to the communities. Senegal is another place.
Senegal, I haven't been there. I've been to Ethiopia and Kenya. Ethiopia is actually a very green country. Most people don't know that.
That's right.
Super green.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
So it's already, they're halfway there.
Yeah, they're halfway there. Yeah.
And Mali and Senegal.
Mali as well, yeah? I don't know nothing about Mali. Have you been there? Or?
No, yet. One of the guys in my group is Senegal. He's Mali, origins is Mali. And,
right. So you know someone who has a background, yeah?
Yeah, so it's more of a case of me, when I get there, we're going to talk about the possibilities of doing something there.
Brilliant. Where can people find you?
I'll
put it in the show notes, of course, but
in what context? You mean on email or?
Well, you already mentioned where people can find your music, but where can people find the GoFundMe?
Yeah, so if you go to Global Self, or I'll send hopefully you can send a link to your.
I've got a link. It's a very long link though, but I'll put it in the show notes so people can just find it. And
donate,
I mean
that's the best because there's the only link I have. Or if they want to email me at Global Eco 678.
Okay.
Then that way they can leave a message and
Global Eco 678
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
And they can leave a message.
Because materials, you said donation of materials as well.
That's correct.
Yeah. So that can't be done by GoFundMe, right?
It can do. You can send the money there if you want.
But for material, if you want to send materials, the actual
if you want to send the materials itself, what kind of materials? Well, if you do want to send materials, then you contact me, then we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously... It's got to be sent somewhere, and all that kind of stuff.
You're based in London, right? You're in London.
Yeah,
right?
I'm in London.
Yeah.
So if you're going to send something to me, then don't send it to London. That's the
because
first
you
thing.
Have to send it on.
And then obviously with the whole corona and everything that is happening in the world at this present time, sending stuff is.
Your family all right?
Yeah, my family is good. Everybody is well. No one's been affected in my personal family, but I've known a lot of people that have been affected.
So have I, which is not funny.
People died or they've been sick very bad. So it's not a good situation, and obviously, all we can do is find the positive solutions to this craziness.
Yeah, maybe people will think more positive after all what happened. Hey, what do you reckon?
I hope and I feel that, we are in a natural movement for high consciousness.
Yeah,
we are in a natural movement of high consciousness. That's why you're seeing all of this happening.
Yeah.
And those who are happy to destabilize things, maybe their time is kind of coming up. And so this is what's happening because the consciousness of what's right and what's wrong is being challenged.
Absolutely.
Or what's true.
Yeah.
So it's an
So people
awakening.
are thinking, at least people are thinking.
It's an
right?
awakening.
Yeah,
It's an awakening.
yeah,
We
yeah.
will see there's this struggle between the awakening and the business reality of it has to continue. And then there's an awakening of consciousness. Well, that can't continue, because if you keep on doing that type of business, you're gonna disappear.
Yeah, you're going to lose out, huh?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. That was a good end note. Is there anything else you would like to mention?
What else can I say? Well, it's glad to meet you, basically.
it's very
It's
good
a
to
pleasure to
meet
meet you, Peter. And just please
Support, huh?
support, send this information to other people. They have my links, and obviously if they want to know more information, they're welcome to send me a message or a phone number, and I can speak to them personally, because sometimes it's easier to do that.
Yeah.
And obviously if they don't know nothing about permaculture, go and research, go and have a look what this this concept's about. It's just about sustainable eco living systems. That's all I'm doing, really. Sharing that wisdom with people through my
So there's
music.
quite a few communities already. I forgot to ask you, but
Where in Africa?
no, just anywhere really in the world.
Are you asking me which ones?
Not which ones, but I mean, it's
No,
already a concept that already has been
The concept
proven,
is a
right?
massive concept.
Yeah.
In all over the world, every
over.
country is doing this. It's not it's not no
Should
secret.
have asked that earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, you can go in the States. This massive permaculture,
Yeah, okay.
in LA and California and these places. So it's no secret. And Australia is the lead of it.
Australia,
Yeah, they're the lead of permaculture. They designed permaculture. Bill Morrison is Australian.
Australian guy.
So yes, this is a world thing, and then that's being exported now everywhere. You can find it in Sweden. You can find it in Denmark. You can find it in these places as well. There's people that do it. Also, the permaculture in itself, as far as Europe is concerned, is quite an old thing. This has been happening in Austria before these people that created the terminology of permaculture.
Okay.
It used to be called the Steinberg theory.
All right.
And this guy basically created the same systems in Austria for the community. Not many people kind of understood and knew. I went to Austria anyway, went to discover myself what this was about.
Was it different? Or?
It's the same principles in Austria.
But in Austria?
Yeah, so, and what was this
Different
this
implementation all around the world? Or different implementation all around the world?
Each different climate will give you a different solution to deal with.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it, yeah?
Yeah, that's the kind of theory behind it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for being here and on the podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yes.
So that was the podcast with Kevin Haynes. It was fantastic to have him here in the studio in Chiswick. I'll put all the links in the show notes. So links to his music, to his GoFundMe page for the project, and also put all the links. And you can find the podcast itself on our website at podcasts.earth/Kevin Haynes. You've been listening to Peter de Vries. Thank you for doing so. And please don't forget to tune in next time to A Travel Companion for news and interesting stories on sustainability, on responsible travel and wellness, and a lot of other things. Thank you.